Welcome everyone to another episode of Old Roommates. Today on the show, we revisit City of Angels from 1998. So, be careful what you're doing, because you may be being stalked. Old Roommates, it's about to begin.
Welcome everyone to Old Roommates, the only podcast that revisits pop culture through a middle-aged lens. This is Brian.
And this is Christina.
Christina, your intros are really something.
You know what's funny? It's actually kind of goes in with like last week's.
With Fright Night.
Because you were talking about stalking.
I said...
You said
we're not doing this.
You said
again.
Something like stare at the neighbors. Stare into the neighbors' houses.
Can look at that episode at their leisure.
So anyways.
We're not going to revisit. But we're going to revisit our revisit. So here we go. City of Angels. We begin, as we always do, by talking about then. Christina, please tell us the first time you saw City of Angels.
Don't mind if I do. So this is a movie. I remember the first time and only time I watched this movie. It was in a movie theater.
Wow. Oh, wow.
I know. It doesn't happen much. I mean, I guess it sort of does. But a lot of times I'm like, I don't remember. I think maybe I watched it on HBO. But this one I remember clearly that I watched it in the movie theater.
Do you remember who you were with?
With my friend Kim and her mother. And I remember this clearly because after we got out of the movies, the one comment I remember was from her mom, and who was also a friend of mine, but yeah, she said, I totally relate to the feeling of him taking that shower and how awesome it felt to take a hot shower. And I thought it was like a really odd comment to make. And I'm like, yeah, okay. That was like the one thing she took from the movie was that scene when he's taking a shower for the first time.
I know that scene. Yeah.
So I just thought it was an odd thing to say about the movie. But I remember that very clearly. I remember not liking this movie.
Okay, why?
Specifically, I felt like he was creepy. And I didn't really understand why she liked him. And I couldn't get really past that. Mm-hmm. Are you all right over there?
I'm fine.
Brian's having some sort of attack.
It's fine.
But, and that was it. Like that, I honestly, okay, so here's the thing. While I was revisiting it, I'm not talking about it now right now.
Okay.
While I was revisiting it, I thought to myself, I quite possibly could have fallen asleep in the middle of it, in the movie theater, watching it. I really feel like there were some scenes in this movie I had no recollection of.
Oh, wow.
So I'm like, I wonder if I fell asleep in the theater while I was watching this. That's how much I just did not like this movie.
Interesting.
How about you, Brian? What is your relationship with this movie?
Christina, it's the same. That's why I was stifling my laughter. I remember seeing this. I also saw it in a movie theater. Mm-hmm. I wish I could remember who I was with. Possibly Naomi. But he's so damn creepy. Mm-hmm. And the thing is that, like, I remember Meg Ryan. I remember really liking Meg Ryan in this. Mm-hmm. And I will say, so this is, sorry to spoil it, but I do remember leaving the movie theater and being like, my first thought was, I can't believe they killed Meg Ryan.
Oh,
you don't kill Meg Ryan. Mm-hmm. What movie is this? This is crazy. So I remember thinking the movie was pretty ballsy for having such a dark ending for what it doesn't, of course the whole movie plays that life and death thing. Sure. But it takes a lot for a movie to truly surprise me. Even back in 1998, this movie did surprise me. At the same time, I did not like it. Mm-hmm. I did think there were some really beautiful parts to it, but I didn't care for it. And it was mostly because of the Nicolas Cage character. When he became human, I liked it a lot. I liked it a lot more, but he becomes human and it ends 10 minutes later.
And
it's 10 minutes.
Exactly. About 15 minutes. 15 minutes,
yeah.
Sure.
So,
and I do remember feeling the same way about being so surprised that they killed her at the end. Like, I couldn't figure out, why?
Like, yeah,
like, what's the point?
It's like, yeah, okay, fine, teach him a lesson, but I don't know, maybe give him 48 hours with her. I know
Seriously?
life is fleeting, but it's like, it's kind of mean.
Yeah.
It's just mean.
This
Is obviously based on the 1987 movie Wings of Desire, which is a German film. I have not seen that movie. I believe it's on Max right now. I might check it out. And even that, because I did a little bit of research, but even from what I read, that City of Angels, that is a different ending than the original. The original is not as bleak.
Interesting.
So it's just interesting that like this American, essentially almost rom-com
they
type
build
of,
this
right?
as a romance.
The
The most
soundtrack.
dramatic.
The Goo Goo Dolls. I mean, all these all this Sarah McLachlan, and they kind of build the cute dog. It's all there. The hardworking woman who wants to find love. It's all there, but it's creepy, and they kill her at the end. So it's So I remember giving this movie.
It really feels a little bit more like a cautionary tale at this point in my life.
So truly, it's like I was not a fan of this movie, even though I think there are some nice parts to it. When did you rewatch it?
I rewatched it, I think about a week ago.
Okay, same.
Somewhere around a week ago. Yeah. So I've had a little time to digest and think about it a little bit. Although I didn't really take that. I didn't really do that. My first thought about this movie when I started rewatching it, I thought it was quite ballsy of them. First of all, it starts immediately.
Yeah.
Like I almost thought they were like previews or something.
Yeah.
Nope. Just immediately starts.
Yeah.
They kill a kid.
Yeah.
I thought that was pretty ballsy for them to do. I'm like, really? This is what you're starting with? A child? So that was surprising to me. Mm-hmm. He's still as creepy as I remember him to be. And I was sort of waiting for that a new lens to be watching this movie. I'm like, I must have missed it. Because a lot of people really liked this movie.
Let me tell you this. It was made for $55 million. It made $200 million worldwide. It was loved by many, 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 many people back in 1998. I will say that my notes are very similar to yours. This is the creepiest effing beginning to a movie. It just instantly starts. We have no idea what year it is. It's something felt very dated to me about it. Like the mom it's this mom running around this room taking care of her daughter who's dying, but the mom is kind of a dingbat. There's no context.
Yes.
Like, you don't know, is she like a religious sort of zealot where it's like she doesn't believe in medicine? You see her with a thermometer and she's like, mercury. And because the angel, Nicolas Cage, is reading her mind. So she's not saying anything, but in her mind you hear her saying, mercury, mercury. Does it even work? How does a thermometer work? I don't even understand a thermometer. And it's like, your child is dying. And Nicolas Cage is sitting there with the biggest smirk on his face.
It's bizarre.
He's just sitting there and like smiling, so fucking creepy. His eyes, by the way, he doesn't blink. I was like, that seems really weird. He doesn't blink.
In the whole movie?
Until he becomes human. Which is why he's so damn creepy.
Well, that makes sense.
And then they cut to the hospital with this little girl dying. And it was like, do you remember? So I found this, you kept saying this was pretty ballsy. I thought it was pretty like shocking where they wheel her in. Now, she's in this hospital bed. There are no blankets, no sheets. There's nothing to make this girl comfortable. Mm-hmm. There's no pillow for her head. She is laying on a hospital gurney, spread out, and just all these doctors looking at her. And Nicolas Cage with a big ass smile through the glass. I'm like, this is so it's
so disturbing.
Years ago, is you talking with the middle-aged lens thing. Now, the only thing my middle age has provided me with this scene is like, this feels, I know there's an angel there, but this feels very unrealistic in terms of what a hospital even really feels like and looks like.
Right.
It's like they're trying to make it as creepy. This little girl is dying. Like, would they really not put it on a couple lights? Would they not try to calm her down? Give her a blanket? Give her a teddy bear? Does she not have stuffed animals? It feels so unnecessarily cold.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like, you know what? I get it. But it also goes on a little too long.
It goes on way too long, and I couldn't understand. And even so, when you get to the second death, right?
Yeah.
Again, we're gonna flip
Jump
around a little bit,
yeah.
around a little bit. When you get to the second death, the one that really rocks Meg Ryan's character to the core. Okay, so she's a doctor.
Yeah.
She's operating on this like old man, right?
Mm-hmm.
All right, he appears to be an old man, and she loses him.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, as a doctor, I imagine you lose patients every once in a while. She didn't appear to be a new doctor, although they did say something to the effect of like she's getting good at this. Or,
Yeah.
So maybe she is supposed to be a little new.
I took it as she's not new because she has a soundtrack. She plays like rock music while she's doing that. She also walks in, and this is it, and I went, uh-oh. But she won me over. Because she walks in, she is like, all right, talk to me. I'm like, oh, God.
Yeah, no.
Like, come on.
So we'll establish that she's not super new.
That's right.
So she must have lost a patient before, right?
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know why this older man dying on her table is rocking her to her core. It feels like the first time she's ever had to tell a family that she lost somebody.
I will defend it.
Okay.
For exactly what you're saying. It is rocking her because she doesn't lose. This is a cut. She later says this is cut and dry. Like
she's it's an unusual situation.
A million times. She's done this a million times, and he's still fucking died, and she's really pissed off about that.
All right, let's switch it around a little bit. Let's do a little rewrite. The first death.
Yeah.
The old man. The first death can be the old man with the very first.
Okay.
One. Not a child.
No,
Okay.
Christina, I want to remind you, I did not write this movie.
No, I'm just trying to make sure that you understand where I'm getting at, because you're not,
Okay, all right.
So then the second death that we see is Meg Ryan working on this little child.
Oh, you're flipping. Yeah.
So then she's like, not today, or whatever it is that she says when she makes eye contact with the angel.
Yeah.
Then it would make more sense for her to be rattled that she loses a child. We're all going to be rattled at that. The audience is going to be right there with her. We're going to have a little bit more sympathy for her. Telling a family that their child has died. Yeah, I get it. We would be right there with her. I don't understand why they did it the way they did. I feel like establishing that he's an angel and that he can talk and he can hear things, fine, do it with an old man.
Yeah.
And then having her question all of her choices, question who she is, questioning her life, blah, 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 questioning what's the point. That would make so much more sense to me if she lost a child. There.
Yeah, I don't know if I completely agree, but I understand your point.
Thank you for saying that.
So there's a moment where Nicolas Cage, Seth is his name, the angel, is talking to another angel. And he said that the little girl said to him,
what was your favorite part?
The wings. No, with the wings. And she
was
like,
why can't she have wings?
Yeah, and she allegedly said to him, and I was like, well, this kind of sounds like bullshit. What good would wings be if you can't feel the wind on your face? And I'm like, would a kid fucking say that? That little kid is not...
Yeah, that's an E.T. moment for me.
Oh, kids, they say the darndest things.
If you're not sure about what we're talking about, revisit our episode of E.T. It was early on. I don't know. Oh my God,
it's probably 12 or something. So, I did say this. Meg Ryan has gorgeous blue eyes. I think she looks really pretty in this movie.
She looks really pretty in this. I agree with that. Yes, I absolutely do.
But then flipping back to the doctor stuff, I really believed her as this doctor. I believed that she plays rock music. I believed that she would sing. What song does she sing? That's a commercial jingle.
Oh, Band-Aid.
Band-Aid's burning his Band-Aid stuck in me. Yeah. I liked those little quirk and idiosyncrasies about her. I liked her a lot. The thing is, though, and I kind of wish we had Jen here, to be honest. Did you feel that?
Oh, yeah.
Because, the part about when she goes to the family, and the family's expecting her to say, he'll be out tomorrow or something, and instead she says, I'm sorry, he didn't make it. And the family crumbles. I thought that actress was Angelina Jolie. She looked a lot like the young girl. But she said sorry like twice, and I was like, I didn't think doctors could say sorry.
We recently had this conversation actually on a Marco.
Yeah.
and about the same thing.
Yeah.
The conversation the three of us had was that Jen had some bad news for someone.
Yes.
And is a friend of hers and is a doctor, and she did not get the reaction that she expected from him. It was a lot colder.
Yeah.
And my observation of that was like, I wonder if it's because of the training and you never really want to say, I'm sorry, because it almost implies guilt.
Or in liability.
And liability. I think the term that they use is, I wish I had better news. Or something a little bit more neutral.
Yeah.
So I agree with you. And I said, I thought the same thing when she was like, I'm sorry. I'm like, it doesn't seem like something a doctor would say.
When I found out I had prostate cancer, it truly, we have it recorded. He truly says like, so there is some prostate cancer. Like there was no massaging of the shoulders.
Wowza.
It was like a phone call, and it's like, oh my God, and you're just like, okay, so we're here now. I mean, because so weird.
That's one of the reasons I'm feeling like it was a little bit unrealistic with her to be so affected by it. Like, no, doctors deliver bad news all the time.
And they're all crying and hugging, and she's still standing there staring with tears in her eyes saying,
yes.
I'm sorry. And it's like, girl, one sorry is plenty. And I don't even think you should even be saying that.
Right.
Like, because they have to cut him back open, and she is massaging his heart in her hands. Like, it's kind of nuts. So this is I hate to say this is going to be kind of one of my consistent notes for this episode is, I don't think Nicolas Cage was the best choice for this role. He is it's such an odd casting. And I want to be really clear. Anyone that knows me, three of my favorite movies, Raising Arizona, Moonstruck, and Peggy Sue Got Married. The male lead of all three movies is Nicolas Cage. I think he is phenomenal. I think I don't even think it's necessarily a bad performance, but I think he's just miscast. And his face is not giving me sympathetic angel. It is giving me psycho fucking killer.
Absolutely.
Psycho killer. He looks scary in every scene. And he's also brood. He's like kind of jacked. He's big. He's brooding.
He's wearing all black through the whole thing.
It's funny when she's like, are you a drummer? Like,
right.
But it's like, it's nuts to me.
So I feel like I want to know what the intention was, is basically my thought. Because I feel like the casting was intentional. I feel like whoever was doing the casting was looking for, maybe the director asked for someone who is the opposite of what you would consider an angel.
An unexpected choice. Yeah.
Because they're really painting a dark picture of angels here. It is the opposite of anything. If you think of an angel, you think of a white winged, flying
halo
thing,
wings. Yeah,
a girl probably with the harp singing a song and granting wishes, like almost like a fairy. And this is the absolute opposite.
How about this one? Really easy. His best angel friend is Andre Bauer, the black guy.
From Brooklyn Nine-Nine.
Make him Seth. He looks the part. He looks like a lovelorn angel that wants a chance.
Yes.
Andre Bauer is amazing
in
this. He's so good in this. Like, just give the whole role to him. Like, it would have made it so much more, like, lovely and romantic and like, warm. Nicolas Cage is too cold.
That is what is missing from Nicolas Cage's performance here.
Yeah.
The warmth.
Yeah.
The lightness.
Because Nicolas Cage, I think, is just going after this lovelorn thing and the tragic too much.
He looks
because it's the combination of it. Nicolas Cage is approaching this like, oh, I just want a chance at love. The problem is he looks like a serial killer and he doesn't blink. No. So it's like, there needed to be a better balance between the actor, the wardrobe, and the character.
He's not too far off from the subway ghost in Ghost.
Oh my God, that's so good. That's so true.
He has that same look to him.
That
just
lovelorn,
creepy,
somber. Yeah. Big eyes. Yep. Staring eyes. Yep. Completely.
So, so once again, here I am watching this movie and looking at Nicolas Cage and still feeling the same way I felt when I watched it originally.
Yep.
This guy, I am so sorry, but the first time she meets him is in this dark hallway, a dark, deserted hallway in the hospital. I'm assuming it's the morgue. I don't even know. It just gives that vibe that you're in like the hallway of the morgue. And she meets this guy who isn't supposed to be there, all dressed in black, isn't giving any kind of real answers. She doesn't know him from a whole lot. And he's not someone you want to meet in a dark hallway.
Do you have the dialogue written down? Because I have some of it. I
don't think I do.
Christina.
Let's
At
hear
one
it.
point, it's only the two of them in this hallway. It is late at night. He does not have a visitor pass on. She says, "Who are you visiting?" And he says, "You." Sweetie, that's when you fucking run.
Turn around.
You fucking run. Run.
I did right. If I meet this creepy guy in a dark hallway, I'm out of there.
It gets better. He asks her, "Are you in despair?" And I wrote, "Run, bitch.
Seriously?
Run.
Get the fuck
Run."
out
And
of
she's
there.
like, "I lost a patient." First of all, HIPAA? Is there any, like, medical? Oh, my God. Like, I lost him. I lost him. He went into cardiac arrest. I had his heart in my hands. I'm like, too much information. Who is this guy?
Gosh.
And
Go ahead.
he doesn't blink at all, right? And she's like, she thinks he's hot. He knows her name. He's like, "How'd you know my name?" "It's on your name tag." It's not.
It's not.
And she doesn't know that?
She doesn't know that. I wrote that too. She doesn't know what's on her name tag.
Come on. You know what your name tag says.
And
your
then
name.
But you know what? That just makes him more sexy. She wants his phone number.
Yeah.
I wrote, why? Why?
And from there, where there's this weird crossing of the worlds.
Oh my
right?
God.
He gets a book. Someone who gets a book into her apartment.
I don't know.
I don't understand any of it.
Let me ask you. Okay, good. Maybe you don't have the answer.
But that's the middle-aged lens. When I was younger, I went along with it. Because you just do. Middle-aged lens, I get it. He can move through things, right? Because he can't feel anything. The book can't. How does he get the book in the apartment?
Right, exactly. It would totally bump into the walls and fall to the ground if we know anything about ghosts, right?
The penny, right.
I mean, come on. We all know what happens here. It takes a lot of effort to hold a book. And people aren't going to notice a book flying through the air. Come on, dude. I am curious if you know the answer to this, because maybe I missed it.
Okay.
So can he just appear when he wants to people, whoever he wants to appear to?
It's not.
How does she
so
see him? Like,
yeah.
And do other people see him?
He's surprised she sees him. That's what I got from that.
But he can't. No.
Wait.
I don't buy that. Well, I don't buy that. I think he was surprised that she made eye contact with him in the operating room.
Yeah.
Right?
Well,
but he doesn't appear to her because she's not seeing him.
But
she
later
was freaked out.
That's true. But she sees him in the hall.
But
I think he goes back to Andre, his friend, and says, "She saw me." And so then, I think
that was before he saw her in the hallway.
Yeah. It was.
Okay,
It was during the medical thing, and that she was connecting with something. And then she does see him, and I think my take was, this is like, oh my God, I can't believe we're doing this. But like, my take was, he was surprised that she could see him. But again, the science of this, even for a fantasy movie, this is when you see. It's tough being middle-aged.
It is.
Because
your better smart.
Yeah, your better judgment just gets in the way of enjoyment. Because even by this movie's own rules, it doesn't play by the rules.
It doesn't.
Because even if she can see him, it doesn't mean he is taking up space. The other weird thing is, he's talking about, this girl saying you can't feel the wind on your face. And that he can't touch people. But throughout the movie, he's putting his hands on people's shoulders. And it seems like he's giving them something. Like, wait a minute, I thought you couldn't touch people. I am so confused.
I'm so confused
by
too.
the science of this movie.
In the library, he says, "Close your eyes," and he puts his hand on hers.
Yeah.
I'm expecting her to open her eyes and him not be touching her because he's not supposed to be able to touch.
That's the whole point, right? He's not supposed to be. She feels it.
She feels it.
Yeah.
And then they don't pan to his hand. So does she notice that his hand is on hers, or she doesn't notice that his hand is on hers?
Yeah. It's murky.
It is murky
Unclear.
at best.
It's as murky as that hospital.
The other thing I have a question on is, what the fuck is the purpose of the angels? Do they literally just walk around endlessly until somebody dies? Like, is he assigned to certain people? Or do they not have any kind of purpose other than just escorting them to heaven?
But but remember that they're like, a lot of times they're touching the people to calm them down. But
before they die.
No, it was even other people.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yeah. So I feel like it's to just kind of control that sort of space, but it's not really clear, but that's really funny. I mean,
but sometimes she sees him and then other times she doesn't. I feel like he has some sort of control over when she's able to see him and when she's not able to see him.
And I'm really sorry to say, this movie is like an hour and 54 minutes. It felt like 3 hours long.
Oh my Lord.
It really felt long.
It really did. I'm looking
at
the clock the whole time like, what the hell?
And my point to saying that is there was certainly enough time to explain the science a little bit better.
Absolutely. I feel like the dialogue in this movie is very minimal. I feel like the scenes are so filled with long, drawn out montages.
Yeah.
And even just having them stand there with music, the swelling music. Yeah. There's so many scenes like that.
Yeah.
Way too many. I would love to count the lines of dialogue. I don't think there's much. I really don't think that there's all that much. I did say that there is so much stalking in this. It gives me the Hello video vibes. Lionel.
Well, yes.
Yeah.
And the do you ever see the movie The Notebook?
Yes.
So I'm telling you, I've said this repeatedly. He is stalking her, and if Ryan Gosling looked like Willem Dafoe, it would be a very different movie. And I'm sorry to say,
he looked like Nicolas Cage.
It would look like Cage. Yeah, it's the same thing. And so it's the same thing here. I felt the same way. I'm like, so I'm glad they established that she's attracted to him because it's just fucking creepy if she wasn't. Because that's like I don't know. Because he's definitely stalking her. It's really not right. Okay, I have a couple of positives though.
I do too.
Okay, there's some supporting roles that I really liked. I like Dennis Franz.
Yes, I said thank God for Dennis Franz. I wrote that.
Yeah,
he is like one of the biggest positives in this movie.
Yeah. I liked him a lot, and I also liked Robin Bartlett, who plays her friend in the baby ward.
Oh, I really liked her too.
She has some really funny lines. She's like, never date a guy who knows more about your vagina than you do. And then the other one, when the baby's crying, which
don't even get me started here.
That subplot could have been left on the cutting room floor.
There was no need for it. No reason for that.
Because that makes me you never check the baby's nose.
Exactly.
You never check if the baby could fucking breathe out of its nose.
Oh my god. The
baby's been there for how long? Oh yeah,
she's screaming. An abandoned baby.
Never checked.
She said they had a full workup on this baby. This baby has been examined from head to toe. Lab work. They can't figure it out.
Well, the funny
Meg Ryan reads. First of all, she's a doctor. She has to read a book to figure out that they have to check the nasal passages to see if it's blocked. Seriously, dude?
Well, I think it was because she had a dream and it was about she couldn't sleep, right? And she's like, oh my god, the baby can't sleep. That's why she was like hysterical. Yes. But the funnier part though, or it's not really funny, but the part that I laughed at is when she's like, the screaming baby, Meg Ryan says, what's wrong with them? And I forget what the character's name is, but Robin Bartlett's character says, no insurance. No insurance.
She has great lines.
Very, very funny.
Yes, yeah. I also actually really, really liked her.
Yeah, but going back to Dennis Franz, I liked, and I'm going to be really honest. You mentioned that you thought maybe you fell asleep and forgot some of the movie the first time you saw it. I forgot that he himself made that deal. I totally forgot about that. Granted, I only saw the movie once, so.
Yeah, I might have fallen asleep during that part as well.
Some things are true, whether you believe in them or not. I wrote creepy, mopey, pathetic. It's just too much. He is sorely miscast.
Not only that, he can't even give her answers. What's your last name? Plate.
Why didn't he just say Messenger? The whole thing is that she assumed he was visiting Mr. Messenger in the hospital. He could have just said, "Oh, Seth, my name's Seth. What's your last name? Messenger." Because that would make sense, because he's a relative. He would be the relative of that guy. Relative. It would make sense for him to be there.
But it's not making him any good. And I don't understand why she's like, oh, okay. And the thing is, she understands that he's lying. She knows that he's lying.
Yeah.
Yet she's still pursuing
Well, because he's so hot, Christina.
Oh, it doesn't make sense at all. Like, she's smarter than this. Come on, Meg.
She is, yeah. Then we get to, I laughed out loud at the bathtub scene.
Oh my God.
I wrote, the bathtub scene is so goofy and it changes the tone of the entire movie.
Completely.
It's a lot of candles. I said from the candles to the beer to the suds to the leg hanging over the tub. I said it doesn't look bad. It just belongs in a very different movie.
It's
so odd.
It's bizarre.
Yeah.
And again, here he is. He's in the next room, hanging out next to the bathtub.
And like, he's not sweating, but he's worked
he's
up.
He's clearly like
worked up.
Yeah, playing with himself or something. But it's again, I can't with this movie. I can't.
Yeah. Here's another great pickup line. I'm a messenger of God. And I'm like, no, thank you. Oh my God. I'm a messenger of God.
You know what? I was on the fence before, but here we go. Here's my number.
Oh my Lord.
He just shows up out of nowhere continuously.
Yeah. Yeah.
No last name, no parents, no job. No answers.
Let me just go back to that because I think it makes me sound like a heathen of some kind. But I'm a messenger of God. Typically, messengers of God are not interested in dating all that much. So that's my feeling there. So meaning, knowing that this character thinks he's hot and wants a relationship, clearly wants a relationship with this guy. She at least wants sex. For him to say I'm a messenger of God is sort of a boner killer. Like, she's not.
And I don't think that was uncalled for at all what you're saying, because somebody says to me, I don't mind having religious people in my life, right. But the people in my life who are religious will not call themselves messengers of God. They will not introduce themselves as a messenger of God. That's the bottom line. I don't care who you are.
Yeah, so again, it's that same note that you had. I wrote, so he can hold books in his hands, but he can't touch. I'm like a little fuzzy on the rules here.
Or is he magical? Is he able to just like zap a book from the library onto her bed table?
And then she fucking violates the HIPAA thing again. Mr. Messenger's surgery went fine. I'm like, what the? I'm like, Meg, girl.
Maybe she is brand new. I don't know. She does not know how to be a doctor in that sense.
My next note, is Seth, ellipsis, dumb? I wrote, he reads Hemingway and he hears the thoughts of everyone, but isn't learning basic info. Like, there's a whole thing where he talks about crying, and he's like, why do people cry? Why do people cry tears? Remember he's asking her that?
Yeah.
And she's like, well, yes, the emotions get so much you can't contain them, and you cry. He's an angel helping people with death, and he doesn't know what crying is or why people do it.
Hasn't he been around for a long time? Like, did he say how long he's been an angel? It's been a long, long time.
Oh, it's been a long time.
Right?
Yeah.
Out of all those years, he never thought to even...
And we learn very early on, this is a job. Like, it's not like you didn't die and become an angel. Like, angels are just angels.
Correct.
So it's like, and if he can read anyone's thoughts, shouldn't he have figured out what crying is?
Right, he hangs out in the library. Isn't anybody reading a bio book?
Oh, why does someone have to read it, Christina? Why doesn't he just grab a book on crying?
He can just
grab the book and read it,
He
Seth.
can read it, right?
Don't make dumbass conversation with a doctor about basic health questions.
Right. And someone you
by the way, doctors don't like that. You ever meet a doctor? Oh my God, you're like, can you look at this bump on my arm?
Yeah.
No, it's like, oh, what's crying? Why do people cry?
Well, then we have Jen's standard answer.
Google it.
I'm not at work. I'm not working right now.
Give me a break. Why does a doctor... Oh, this blew my mind.
Oh,
So, then I started
no.
turning on the movie.
Why does it started here?
Well, no, again, you know what? You're right. I started turning on Meg Ryan's character. So it's like, she gets so pissed off at Jordan, her boyfriend. So he's like, he finds a tick on her dog. Mm-hmm. And he said, do you have a lighter? Oh my God, I'm not going to light a match on the dog. Do you have alcohol? Alcohol? I don't operate at home, Jordan. Like, what? Who doesn't have alcohol?
Brian, do you have alcohol?
I sure do.
Are you a doctor?
No.
Maybe that's it. Maybe it's just doctors don't have alcohol in their cabinets.
Why
I
does
have
doctor not
alcohol.
have rubbing alcohol in their medicine cabinet? Everyone does.
Oh my God.
It's just fucking rubbing alcohol.
Yes. So speaking of her boyfriend, I really liked him.
Me too.
I thought she had more chemistry with him than she did with Seth.
She wants someone to understand what she's going through. What better person than another doctor?
He's a doctor. They have so much in common.
And he looks out for her.
And he's nice. He's a nice guy.
He doesn't want her to get overworked. He knows she had this really tragic loss. He's like trying to cover for her.
He's a good guy.
Well, not according to her. What's her name anyway? Maggie. Not according to her. I did laugh. Why do you wear the same clothes all the time? Are you homeless? Are you a drummer?
You're a drummer.
And then she says something really interesting, Christina. Because
yes.
I guess she forgot what happened 2 scenes ago. She says, why won't you ever touch me? I'm like, did you forget the library?
You touched her.
He touched her. He did touch you.
Oh my God.
I don't understand this woman.
I don't understand this movie. Really don't understand the choices that they made in this movie. I truly don't.
Oh,
and I don't understand the people who liked it, to be honest.
He cuts his thumb. Then she slices his hand.
That was crazy. I don't think I would have done that.
It's quite the gamble. It's a gamble.
And then he's trying to cover it up by like using a white cloth to cover it up. Dude, if you were bleeding, it would soak right through.
Besides the stalking, something else that did not age well is the choice of song with the Sarah McLachlan Angel song, which is now the theme song of the ASPCA.
Oh, right.
You're in the arms of the angel.
Not if he can't touch you.
Yeah, that did not age well.
I actually did like the soundtrack, though, I will say.
Oh, no, yeah.
It's a good soundtrack that I had forgotten about, but there's some good stuff on there.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah.
So again, why wouldn't he just say his last name is Messenger? He said his last name was Plate. I wrote Durr.
Not a bright
that deserved
guy.
a Durr.
Yeah. And I just don't understand, too. Like, he should have had something set up for, like, a conversation with her. He can't figure out a backstory? Messenger, I'm from Canada. I work...
Seth Lord.
In the library.
Yeah. Seth Cloud.
How about
Seth Evan. Come on.
It didn't occur to him that she was going to ask him, like, what his name was?
Yeah. Or what he does for a living. I mean,
or
the basics. The basics, Seth.
I mean, I don't know.
I did think the surgery scenes are really done well.
I agree.
I completely bought every single one.
Yes.
Yeah, and they were really no one checked the baby's nasal passages. Wow.
Stupid. So stupid.
One of my biggest positives is the scene where he actually does fall. So the idea is that if he falls, imagine if you just tripped by accident.
Oops. You're a human now. I'd be doomed.
He falls off this crazy... Yeah, right. He falls off this crazy skyscraper. I think it is done amazingly
I agree.
well. I thought it was so cool.
I agree. I thought that was very cool.
Really well done.
I liked that a lot. Did you see the cameo?
Yep. The construction worker, instantly, Nick Offerman.
Nick Offerman. He has one line. He does not have any facial hair at all. But I recognized his...
eyes.
His... Oh.
Okay. Oh, what'd you recognize?
His voice.
Oh, interesting.
But I also had looked at the cast, so I knew he was in there somewhere. So I was sort of looking for him. I love Nick Offerman so much.
Thought it was weird, and maybe this is part of the science, but he can speak 1,000 languages. Do you remember what happens when Seth bumps into 3 Asian women?
Oh my gosh.
Hi, how do I get to a hospital? Or what is he asking? He's asking some stupid question. But he's not asking them in their language.
Yeah.
Oh, come on, movie.
Again.
Come on.
Terrible. Once he became human, all he talks about is touch. right? This is the big problem. He can't feel anything.
Yeah.
Wouldn't he want a hug from someone or something?
Yeah.
Like, wouldn't he just, like, the first thing would be, I want to touch somebody.
Yeah.
He waits 2 days until he gets to see her in Tahoe.
Very odd. I wrote, he became human and lost all sense of manners. Sounds about right. He's like, I think at one scene he's like, he pushed somebody away and like he get working himself through a crowd. Like he was like not, like just kind of rude. And
I'm curious how he got to Lake Tahoe with no money.
Did I write that? Maybe I wrote that same note about money.
Maybe.
Let's see. Anne is the nurse's name. Robin Barley. Yeah.
She was great.
What's with all the towels? Oh, yeah. I found that interesting. So he goes to Anne, and Anne's like fixing his bruises and stuff like that. And then he gets to Tahoe, and same thing. Maggie is doing all the paper towels on his cuts.
Right, but they're like medical professionals.
Also, how about just say, do you want to take a bath? Do you want to shower? Do you want to rinse the fucking blood and grime off your body?
Oh, yeah. It's the water. It's the water bath, I think, is what you're thinking about. Because I remember them too. Like, they're just
it's like the paper towel. It's so
like,
weird.
really? Is that what we do now? This is what we do? No banding?
Like, is this like the Plymouth Plantation? So, here we go. Christina, I think I know your favorite scene in this movie.
Oh, let's hear it then.
The sex scene. When he says, tell me what it feels. She says, tell me what it feels.
Never ask someone this question.
And he says, I can't. And she says, try. And I wrote, please don't. And do you remember what he says?
What did he
say?
say?
He goes, warm. Aching.
Oh.
It's so gross.
What a turn on.
It's so
What a turn
gross.
on. Please. I'm going to ask Matt next time. Tell me what it feels like. I hope he says warm and achy. One thing I wrote down, she was making a
aching, not achy.
Oh, aching.
Aching.
Yeah,
right. Yeah, aching.
When she's making the fruit bowl, she's mixing it with her hands.
Yep, noticed that as well.
Yuck.
Yeah.
Yuck.
Yeah.
I don't know. She probably washed her hands, but still.
And she does a lot with her hands. With it, she's squeezing the guy's heart. Yeah, she's very tactile.
Then squeezing the oranges into this fruit salad.
Yeah.
I did laugh when she said, "Just you and me, Mr. and Mrs. Plate."
That was cute.
That was funny.
Yeah. He is a large man. I mean, in that shower, he is really built, but still fucking scary looking. I didn't remember why. I remember she left, obviously. I remember the whole ending, but I didn't remember why she left, and she went to get pears. Very sad.
That I didn't remember either, and I did think that was
It was
cute.
effective.
It was
effective,
touch.
yeah.
Sure.
But I was like, girl, you gotta look when you're on a bike. I mean, like, come on.
Oh my God, so unsafe. And for a long time.
A long time.
It's one thing to shut your eyes for like a second. She had her eyes shut for 15 seconds easily.
She already had that moment on the steps of the grocery store where she paused and looked up in the sun.
There's a lot of those moments.
Took a moment.
In this movie. There's a lot of those closing eyes, looking up to the sun moments.
But then she gets on the bike and she's riding in the street. And it is a bit reckless because besides the fact that it's a fucking street, she's right at the edge of a cliff. Like, this is Tahoe, so it's a lot of mountains and stuff. And she's really not looking, just kind of foolish.
Really not looking. Her eyes are completely closed. And her
head up.
And her hands are not on the steering, on the handlebars.
Yeah.
They're outstretched. It was a weird choice for that professional doctor to do.
But I also thought, like, and I thought this then, and I thought it now. It's like, you fucking died? Like, you really didn't have enough time to slam on the brakes? That, like, she was, I can't imagine her going that fucking fast because she wasn't pedaling, she was coasting. And she sees the truck, and she kind of, like, does this, like, head tilt thing. It's like, I feel like your instinct is like, holy shit, like...
Turn the wheel,
fall off the bike. I mean, jump off the bike. Like, how fast could she have been going to kill herself crashing into a log truck?
And she would have looked a little worse, too. I mean...
I did not think of that then. I'd have that same note now.
She would have been, like, decapitated or something, right? Because she would have gone underneath the truck.
She looks like she just like had a couple
She
scratches.
had a couple of She had a couple bumps and bruises.
She knew she was dying though.
Good Lord. And that was terrible. I have so many bad notes, but anyway, I don't have many additional notes.
Okay.
Let me start with a positive.
Okay.
I thought the cinematography was beautiful throughout this movie.
Yes, I agree.
Gorgeous, gorgeous scenery, beautiful, the beach, blah, blah, blah. Okay, there's my positive.
Yeah.
Here's my negative. When she's dying and he shows up, she says to him,
Mm-hmm.
when they ask me what I liked the best, I'll tell them it was you.
Mm-hmm.
How did she know they were going to ask her what she liked best? Did he tell her that story? Because as far as I know, he only told his angel friend.
Oh, I thought he did.
He had a conversation with his angel friend.
Well, I'm not going to rewatch it.
Go ahead.
So I'll take your word for it.
Literally, my last note says, is there a purpose of these angels? Do they help at all?
Yeah, I know. I mean, it's a bit weird. Well, I mean, they can't. They are the messenger. They're just the messenger.
Yeah,
Don't
maybe,
kill the messenger.
I will tell you, maybe my opinion of this movie is just a little worse because of my belief now as a middle-aged person. I do believe in angels.
Oh.
And I do believe you can ask them for help. My thought is right now, like, if I thought it was a Nicolas Cage hanging out beside me, I don't know if I'd be like, I need your guidance.
Yeah.
I don't want that from him.
Yeah. And you'd probably like buy like a bathrobe. You probably don't want him staring and ogling at you.
God. I just hope he never appears in front of me. I will run in the opposite direction.
That would be truly chilling. I have a few more notes though. Oh, here's my note.
Oh my God.
Same as yours. How's he paying for those pears? Did you think he
Right.
like went into her pocketbook and just like, well, you're just not gonna need this anymore?
Does he even know he needs money for things?
He does
I'm
a lot of
questioning-
observing. I did laugh out loud when they cut to him staring at the pears. I was like, he is so big and hulking.
Yes.
He is scary looking. And then he says to his friend, I'd rather have one breath of her hair than an eternity without it. Then the really awkward scene at the end where he's playing in the waves for some reason. And Andre Bauer has the really difficult job of laughing and smiling, watching him play in the waves. And it is so weird. It's just weird.
It's
so
very weird.
And again, that triumphant music,
There's
etc.
like a little bit of gay vibes there.
Yep, I felt the same thing. I am going to say, though, I really like Meg Ryan in this. I really loved her in this. I loved Andre Bauer. I loved Dennis Franz. I love Robin Bartlett. It's really, my negative is just mostly is the Nicolas Cage casting.
I agree with you in all of that.
Yeah.
But my major negative is just the story itself.
Yeah.
The story itself is so weak and weird and dark, and there's so many questions and there's so many holes. It just didn't come together for me at all.
Yeah, I think I am going to watch Wings of Desire. I just want to see what the starting point was.
That would be
and see if that makes
interesting.
more sense. Yeah, so I said budget was $55 million, box office $200 million. Oh, more? I think I know what you're saying. More or less or about the same.
So it's an interesting thing. I feel like it must be about the same for me.
Mm-hmm.
Although I don't know. I mean, maybe it's a little more because
Really?
Well, only because I did appreciate Andre Bauer and Dennis Franz. Like
Oh God,
those
is it Brower? Oh my God, I'm so sorry. Is it Brower or Bauer?
I think
Andre Brower. Maybe it's Brower.
I forget now.
Sorry, I think maybe you said it right. Sorry.
After you said it several times, I don't remember. But I feel like I appreciated the supporting actors a lot more this time around.
Yeah.
And I did like Meg Ryan more this time around.
Yep.
When I first watched it, I didn't like her in this at all.
Mm-hmm.
And it might have been because I feel like this is probably one of her first more serious roles.
Mm-hmm.
And she's not quite as
Yeah.
light and fluffy.
Yeah.
So I don't think I really appreciated it that much. So I'm going to say a little bit more.
Okay.
I guess is my final answer. You?
I think a little less.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And I think it did feel long. It felt a lot
It felt so
longer
long.
than under 2 hours.
Yes.
Johnny Depp was originally considered for Seth. I think that would have been
Interesting.
interesting. He plays so many weird,
Actually,
weird
he would have been
characters,
good
though.
at this,
Yeah.
I think. I
Yep.
think he would have been a good choice because he would have
He
been a
doesn't
lot
look
more
menacing.
believable.
Yes, he doesn't look menacing.
Yes.
So the end of the movie, it says, for Don. It's dedicated to someone named Don. So Don is Dawn Steele. Dawn Steele was one of the producers. She was the one that saw Wings of Desire and said, let's maybe do something with this movie, this material. She died in 1997 of a brain tumor at 51 years old.
Oh my gosh.
She is responsible. She's one of the first female movie executives ever.
Wow.
She's responsible in part for Flashdance, Top Gun, and Fatal Attraction. She was also known for hiring a lot of females for executive roles and other leadership roles in film studios.
Awesome.
So she wrote a memoir called "They Can Kill You, But They Can't Eat You," which I guess was successful, and but I guess she was a really fascinating woman. Nora Ephron wrote her obituary for the New York Times. So I do have a match game.
Oh, I also have a match game.
Why don't you go first?
Okay, I shall. So now that Seth is single,
Ooh.
he decided to join Match.com, but he's having some trouble since he wrote "must love blank."
Okay. First thought, I'm going to go with it.
All
First
right.
thought, ding.
Ding. All right, now that he's single, he joined Match.com, but he's having trouble since he wrote "must love."
Death.
Good one. I wrote "must love stalkers."
Oh my God.
Either way, he's not getting a date.
Oh my God. All right, that was a good one. Ready for mine?
I am.
Maggie said, presumably before she perished in a log truck accident, Maggie said, making whoopee with an angel is so weird.
How weird is it?
Thank you for asking. Instead of him moaning, oh God, he says, oh, blank.
All right.
Oh, fast.
Ding. Hey, it's the first thing that came to my
All
mind.
right, good. Ding.
Okay.
Instead, making whoopee with an angel is so weird. Instead of him moaning, oh God, he moans, oh blank.
I wrote, he moans, "oh Seth," like he says his own name.
Oh God. I wrote, oh boss. He's a messenger of God.
Oh my gosh, that's
Oh
hilarious.
my Lord.
I
Well,
love
how
it.
did you watch it, by the way? City of Angels.
I got it from the library.
Me too. And it was a well-worn copy. This thing had seen some tough times.
This one was worn. Maybe not as well worn as yours, but it was worn for sure.
Oh my gosh. And that, friends, is City of Angels. And that's it for us and for this episode of Old Roommates.
Thank you for listening. Please remember to follow us on Instagram or YouTube, where we have our episodes as well as a little extra.
And if you have any questions about our show, any suggestions for movies we could revisit, reach out to us at oldroommatespod@gmail.com.
Thanks again for listening.
This is Brian.
And this is Christina. Until next time.